In the previous lecture, we have created a bean of data type vehicle, and the same we are trying to read from the context with the help of this getBean method. This is a very simple scenario, but sometimes in real projects, developers may end up creating multiple beans of same data type. Let's try to understand more details about this scenario, and in the same process, we're going to face some exceptions, and by the end of this lecture, we're going to learn on how to resolve that exception. Since I want to explain some other example or some other scenario, what I'm going to do is inside the section 6, I'm going to create a new Spring Maven project. We already created example 1 Maven project in the previous lecture. I can try to copy the same and paste it inside the same folder. Followed by, I'm going to rename this project name to example 2. Once the renaming of the folder is completed, let me go inside the folder. Inside this project, you're going to have a folder with the name target. Inside the target, you're going to have the compiled classes from the previous project, which is example 1. Since we are trying to set up a new Maven project with the name example 2, we need to get rid of these already compiled classes and folders. Followed by, we need to open this pom.xml. Let me open this pom.xml with some text editor. Here, we need to change this artifact ID to example2. Let me save this and close this file. Followed by, I'm going to close all these files which belongs to the example1. As of now, inside my IDE, I have only a single Maven project with the name example1. Let me show you how to import an existing Maven project into the IntelliJ. You can always download the code inside the GitHub repo by going to this URL and selecting this code. You have multiple options. If needed, you can clone this repository, or you can simply download the entire code into a zip format using this download zip option. Once the download is completed, you can extract the zip and you can try to import the Maven projects into the IDE. Whatever steps that I'm going to discuss on how to import an existing Maven project, you can follow the same steps when you try to import the Maven projects provided by me with the help of this GitHub repo. Here, you need to click on this Maven icon, followed by we need to click on this add Maven project, and let me go to the folder location, storage, workspace, full stack React, Spring Boot, section 6 and example 2. Example 2 is the Maven project that I'm trying to import. Let me click on this open, and with that, you'll be able to see a new Maven project is imported into my IDE. Once the import of this Maven project is completed, you can select this reload all Maven projects, which is going to reload all the dependencies into your IDE. Followed by, you can click on this example 2 and you can also try rebuild module example 2, which is going to recompile your example 2 just to make sure there are no compilation issues. Now, I'll go to the file, which is project config. Let me open this, and here we have a lot of unnecessary code. Let me delete this string related and integer related code. Next, I'm also going to delete these comments just to make sure that my code is looking simple and clean. Let me delete this comment as well. Now you can see I have a single method where I'm trying to create a bean of vehicle. Let me try to create a couple of more methods which are also going to create the beans of vehicle data type. So here, since we are trying to have a same method name, we are getting some compilation error. Let me set the very first method name as vehicle1, followed by vehicle2 and vehicle3. The same method names will be considered as a bean names by the Spring framework for the respective objects that are being returned from these individual methods. Let me mention the very first vehicle name as Audi, followed by Honda, and the last vehicle name I'm going to set as Ferrari. With this, what is going to happen? In total, our Spring framework, it is going to create 3 different beans which belongs to the same data type. Now we're going to have some fun. Let me go to the main class, which is Spring main. And here, let me delete all the code from the previous example. I'm going to retain only the code related to the vehicle. So here what we are trying to do, we're trying to first initialize the context and Spring IOC container with the help of these annotation config application context. Followed by, we are trying to load the bean of data type vehicle from the context. Let's try to execute this program and see what is going to happen. I'm trying to execute this in debug mode and boom. we got some runtime exception, which is no unique bean definition exception. This is an important exception that you need to be aware as a Spring developer. Let's try to read these details. It says no qualifying bean of type vehicle available, expected single matching bean, but found three beans with the name vehicle 1, vehicle 2 and vehicle 3. Let me explain why we are facing this exception. So when we are asking the Spring IOC container or Spring context to provide a bean of data type vehicle, it is going to check inside the context, but it ended up finding three different beans of same data type. So it does not have any clue which bean that my end user is asking. Out of this ambiguity or out of this confusion, Spring Framework is throwing this no unique bean definition exception. I also have this funny meme where a developer is asking Spring Framework, why can't you give me my bean? But behind the scenes, Spring Framework found multiple beans of same data type. That's why it is going to behave weirdly by throwing this no unique bean definition exception. Let's try to understand how to fix this problem. To fix this problem, to the getBean method along with the data type of the bean, we can also pass what is the name of the bean that we are trying to fetch. For example, if I am looking to fetch the vehicle bean with the name Audi, then I need to provide the bean name to the Spring Framework. So what will be the bean name for this vehicle object? It will be the vehicle 1 because the method names will be considered as the bean names by the Spring Framework while it is trying to create the beans from the objects. Let me take this vehicle 1 name and go to the Spring main. Here as a very first parameter to the getBean method, I'm going to pass the vehicle 1, which is the name of the bean, followed by data type of the bean. Let me save this, and now if I try to execute the same program, this time there won't be any confusion to my Spring Framework, and it is going to give me a bean from the Spring context which is having a vehicle name as Audi. And this output is matching with our expectations because we are expecting Audi only. In case if you are looking for the vehicle with the name Ferrari or Honda, you need to give the respective names as an input while calling this getBean method. I hope you're clear on what is no unique bean definition exception and how to solve this. We just discussed only one of the approach, but there are multiple other approaches as well to solve this exception, which we are going to explore in the coming lectures. Whatever we have discussed inside this lecture, I have highlighted in the slides as well. This is the very first slide where it is going to show you the scenario under which we are going to get the no unique bean definition exception. Here on the right hand side, you can see I'm trying to call the getBean method by simply passing the data type of the bean. In this kind of scenario, definitely I'm going to get no unique bean definition exception. To overcome this exception, we need to call the getBean method along with the name and the data type. That's what I have highlighted in the next slide. With this code, what we are going to get? We are going to get the object of vehicle 1 as an output from this program.